right, so we're diving into some listener-submitted source material about Drake and Kendrick Lamar.
Two of the biggest names in hip-hop.
Exactly, and this is going to be fun because the listener wants us to figure out, like, what's the deal with them?
Yeah, is there, like, bad blood? There a real rivalry, a beef, or is it all just part of the show? You know?
Right, because, like, on the surface, they both seem to be at the top of their game, both super successful.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Drake, who's kind of like the king of the charts, right?
Yeah, totally.
Like, he's got that blend of hip-hop and pop that just dominates the radio.
Mm-hmm. And then you've got Kendrick, who's more like a poet, you know?
Yeah, he's got that more complex lyrical style, very conscious.
Yeah, and he's also racking up awards and critical acclaim.
Totally. So, like, they're both winning in a sense, but the question is there, like, a real rivalry underneath it all?
And that's what we're going to try to figure out today by looking at the music itself.
Yeah, let's dig into some of those lyrics, see if we can find any clues.
Okay, so the listener didn't give us specific tracks or anything, but there are some obvious places to start, right?
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking about Drake and Kendrick, we got to go back to, like, 2012.
Okay, 2012, what happened then?
Well, that's when Drake released Stay Steamin', and there's that line that a lot of people think was about Kendrick.
Oh, yeah, remind me.
Drake says, "Know some real G's move in silence like lasagna."
Oh, right. Yeah, what do you think?
Well, at the time, Kendrick was kind of coming up, but he wasn't like a household name yet.
Yeah, he's still kind of under the radar.
Right, so some people took that line as Drake kind of throwing shade at Kendrick's quiet rise, you know?
Like he was saying Kendrick wasn't a real G because he wasn't making as much noise as Drake.
Exactly. It was very subtle. Very Drake, you know?
Yeah, like a subliminal diss.
And then a year later, Kendrick kind of like dropped a bomb on the whole hip-hop world.
With Control, right?
Exactly. His verse on that track was basically like a call to arms.
Yeah, he called out like a dozen rappers by name.
Including Drake.
Yeah, he even said something like Drake better step up his game or something.
Yeah, it was a major statement for sure.
And I remember the internet like exploded. Everyone was talking about it.
Yeah, it was like the biggest hip-hop news for weeks.
So how did Drake respond to that?
You know, he never really addressed it directly.
Really? So it's kind of like he just let it slide?
Yeah. I mean, maybe he didn't want to fuel the fire.
Or maybe he just thought Kendrick wasn't worth responding to.
That's possible too, but silence can also be a powerful response, you know?
That's true. But even without like a direct back and forth, there's still this sense of competition between them.
Oh, definitely. Like, they're both pushing the boundaries of hip-hop in their own ways.
And they're both vying for that top spot.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes this whole thing so interesting.
It's like a chess match, you know, with each move they make.
And it's not just in the music either.
Yeah, you see it in interviews and on social media too.
Like that time Drake wore a Kendrick Lamar shirt to a concert.
Yeah, what was that all about?
Who knows? Maybe it was a sign of respect, or maybe it was a subtle dig.
It's like they're always keeping us guessing.
And I think that's part of the appeal.
Yeah, it's like they're creating this whole narrative around their relationship.
And we as fans get to interpret it how we want.
It's like a real-life soap opera.
Only with way better music.
That's for sure. So where do we go from here then?
Well, I think the beauty of this is that we may never know the full truth.
Yeah, like we can analyze the lyrics and the interviews all we want.
But ultimately, it's up to each of us to decide what we believe.
Do you think they even know themselves at this point?
Maybe not, but I think as long as they keep making great music.
That's all that really matters.
Exactly. The music speaks for itself.
Well said. So to wrap this up, what can we say definitively about this Drake-Kendrick situation?
I think we can say that they are two of the most talented and influential artists of our generation.
Absolutely.
And that their supposed rivalry, whether real or imagined, has had a profound impact on hip-hop culture.
Yeah, it's pushed them both to be better.
And it's kept us fans entertained for years.
And who knows, maybe someday we'll finally get a clear answer.
Or maybe the mystery is part of what makes it so great.
I think you're right. Yeah. So the next time you're listening to Drake or Kendrick,
pay close attention to those lyrics.
You might just find a clue that unlocks the whole thing.
Or you might just enjoy the music. Either way, it's a win-win.
Absolutely. Thanks for diving deep with us today.
It's been a pleasure.
And to our listeners out there, keep those deep dive requests coming.
We love exploring the mysteries of music with you.
We'll see you next time for another deep dive.
Until then, keep listening.